Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Stephen Larson. Quick reminder, I know we mentioned this before, but given that we're coming up on the new year, today, after our AEW review, it's going to be the last you see of us live on Twitch, officially doing recaps. I might dick around on my channel over there at MF Steve here. I don't know, maybe not.
Well, we'll be around Saturday for day one.
Saturday, yeah, that's right, Saturday. So the 1st of January, a new year, new things, and we're going to be there for year one doing our live reactions, and then we're going to do the January recap of it. The pay-per-view is called January 1. We're going to be doing our live reactions to that, and the recap's going to be on Monday, so you can catch that then. But yeah, we're taking tomorrow and Friday off, so the usual shenanigans will be you'll have to hold off until next week.
Next week when it's back to our normal schedule. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's going on, and hopefully you guys will join us for year one. We also have this coming week on Friday on YouTube and in the audio podcast realm. We've got our Friendo Awards, which is pretty exciting, and then on Saturday we've got predictions in the year 2022. Yeah. So that's fun stuff. A lot of softballs between the two of us this year, because I feel like I swung for the fences last year and I hit a home run, so I can just sort of cruise on
you can just bunt your way to first, huh?
The new
bunt
year
singles.
This year there were so many things that sort of threw us for a loop. There's so many weird things happen in 2021. It's sort of I've got like analysis paralysis heading into the new year when it comes to trying to predict things.
Nothing's off the table seemingly.
It's like nothing I say seemingly could be as wild as what could actually happen in the new year. So it'll be interesting to see where 2022 takes us. One place it might take Alberto Del Rio is to All Elite Wrestling. Yeah, right. But he seems to think so. Every so often, Larson, Alberto will claim to be talking to a wrestling promotion, and then like nothing will ever come of it. He talked about a possible return to WWE. We all thought that was
several times
a long shot. Guess what? That's not in my predictions. That ain't going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Most recently, though, Del Rio said in an interview with Sportskeeda that he's been talking to AEW. These transcripts come to you via WrestlingNews.co. This is what he says. Yes, that's possible. I've been talking to a lot of people, and just like I said earlier, I know everybody. They're all talking about it, and they saw what happened, and they know it wasn't fair for me, my career, my life, so they are all going to be giving me an opportunity, so it's just a matter of time for me and them to put something together and decide where we're going to go.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I don't see that happening. I know it's so noticeably absent from this conversation. I've been talking to a lot of people. That's a very vague statement. That could be any number of people. But if you want the quickest road towards eroding your goodwill with the fan base, which AEW has plenty of,
yes,
hire this man.
Yeah, that would be extremely disappointing if AEW were to bring him in. Just about a week ago, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out, quote, "I've spoken with people from WWE, MLW, Impact who also say they either have no interest in bringing in Del Rio in or be shocked if it happens. AEW talent I've spoken to say they've never heard him mentioned as even possibly coming in." It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. We got some breaking news here, Steve.
Yeah. So transitioning from the absurd to the sad, Sean Ross Sapp, 2 minutes ago from the recording of this, apparently he learned this during his own live stream, has been informed that Toni Storm is now gone from WWE. She just had a championship match with Charlotte Flair. She's been on main roster now for how long?
Not very long, less than a year.
Not very at all. Was she part of the draft?
I think she got brought up before the draft, if memory serves.
Man, wow. I don't know if this. I hope this is not the first of.
I know.
Because sometimes it happens where it just starts trickling out.
Yes.
Man, what a bummer.
That is a bummer. She's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic.
I love Toni Storm. I think she's really great. In my opinion, she never got a real fair shot in
even in NXT.
Even in NXT.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah. What an absolute drag.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
She'll land wherever she wants to go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's immensely talented. She's a hell of a wrestler.
AEW needs to be because they could use a talent like her. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a drag.
That is a bummer.
Another bit of news here. We're going to monitor this situation. And when we say this situation, I mean Sean's Twitter account. Because you never know where this might be more. XPac has been cleared.
Sorry. I know we're a bit bummed out, but I feel like we got to say it correctly, Steve.
I got everything I ever wanted.
XPac. Well, hold on. Apparently, XPac hasn't gotten everything he ever wanted from his in-ring career. As he announced today on WWE's The Bump that he has been cleared to return to the ring. This is what he said. These transcripts are from Fightful. Quote, "My surgeon gave me the go-ahead. I just got the green light to get back in the ring. I'm just going to get into better and better shape. I'll be ring ready beginning of next year in case my phone rings."
Oh, man.
Put X-Pac in the Royal Rumble.
Yes. That would be rad.
Put him in the Rumble.
I
Surprise entrant in the Rumble.
I mentioned this
Louis
off
Dangoor
screen.
tweeted that, and I saw that. I'm like, hell yes. Put X-Pac in the Rumble.
I saw this. I mentioned this off camera. X-Pac versus Ninja Mac at GCW in the Hammerstein.
X-Pac, best of Super Juniors next year.
Yes. Do it. Oh,
has there been
White Brownie
anybody
has it. X-Pac versus Pac.
Can you think of anybody in wrestling who has reversed their fortunes with fans more so than X-Pac? He literally had a phrase coined because he had go away heat, X-Pac heat.
That
now
to me,
basically everybody likes.
I regret
appreciate
sincerely ever using that term because this dude was on the precipice of probably literally dying because of his addiction issues and turned it around. He's fit. He's got a popular podcast. He's terrific. And this dude was, before X-Pac heat was a thing, he was a revolutionary in wrestling, an innovator, born before his time, a man before his time. Yeah, that's great. As long as he's into it and he's healthy to do it, man, get him in there. Get him in there. I don't care what ring it is. Get him in there.
Heck yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. It was cool when we went to StarCast in Vegas for Double or Nothing. And we had our table basically right across from his.
Yeah.
He was there all weekend.
Yeah, right.
Signing autographs, talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Taking time to talk to everybody. He just seemed like a really pleasant dude who was appreciative that, people were coming up to asking, for autographs just to chat with him.
Yeah.
He just seemed like a really appreciative dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he'd go through the shit he's gone through. He probably would be. But that's awesome. Absolutely. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Let's Get Checked. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
You're a low energy guy, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes, but not I don't think every day. Am I low energy every day?
Confirmed.
No.
Super low energy. Did you know that fatigue, hair loss, and even a low libido can all be the result of a hormonal imbalance? It might be time to get your testosterone levels checked, friendo. And today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked, has got you covered.
Yeah, I've heard that low testosterone levels can cause fatigue, low energy, and may be linked to depression. So tell me, Steve, how do I go about getting my testosterone checked with Let's Get Checked?
I'm happy you asked, Larson, because it's super easy and something you can do from the comfort of your own home. Just go to their site, letsgetchecked.com, and order a test kit. Once that arrives, you do a small finger prick and send the sample to their lab, and within a few days, you'll get your results. And if your results are outside the normal ranges, a member of Let's Get Check's nursing team will contact you to discuss your lab report.
Yeah, that sounds easy enough. I could do that.
It is easy and convenient, and it can hopefully help you turn from low energy Larson into Let's Go Larson. Even better, our listeners will get 30% off their entire order with the code RAW. Just visit letsgetchecked.com and enter RAW at checkout to ensure you and your significant other are staying safe. Let's talk about NXT. We're on the road to New Year's Evil, which is actually shaping up to be a hell of a card.
Yeah, it is a good card.
There's some matches on here that are going to be pretty stellar. This six-man, Walter and Imperium versus Riddle and MSK. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever thought to themselves, oh, that's a dream match I'd like to see. But now that you think about it, it makes perfect sense. And I think it's just going to be a hell of a match. Riddle and Walter in the ring together. They probably did back in the day before they were in WWE.
Progress, because
he was the Atlas champion, I think, Riddle was.
So according to Cage Match, Riddle and Walter have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 one-on-one matches, and then 2 more multi-person matches. There's Riddle versus Thatcher versus Walter in Progress, and then Keith Lee versus Riddle versus Tracy Williams versus Walter. Where was this? Evolve 2017.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going to be good. Of course, we got Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa. That's going to be solid. This Roderick Strong, Carmelo Hayes could be an early match of the year candidate. These two are spectacular wrestlers. They had a killer contract signing segment, which really had more to do with the promo battle between Bivens and one of my favorite talkers right now, Trick Williams. This guy's got all the charisma in the world. He's really good. And then I think that the women's title match is going to be good. It was they had a setup this week, where the participants were kind of up in the air. Mandy Rose was like, hey, Cora, Raquel, why don't you guys throw down against Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai, 2 other people who won in on that title match. And then the whole can they coexist thing ended with like a can they coexist victory where they were still arguing.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
That's weird. It is weird. Yeah.
Because they worked pretty seamlessly the whole match, and just at the end, like Raquel was just really upset that she's not the one that got the pin. You know,
in a tag match, why would that matter?
I mean, what matters is your team gets the win, because then you and your partner get a title shot next week.
Right.
So just get the win.
Yeah. I thought that this week's NXT episode, I thought it was kind of like what I really appreciate sometimes in wrestling, which is unintentional funny stuff. The fact that Harlan nearly killed the guy, but elected not to by not throwing him off the roof. I thought the contract signing was legitimately good. I like a combination of like unintentionally hilarious and also legitimately pretty decent. And I thought that NXT delivered on that this week.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, it's another episode where there's probably too much talking.
Oh, of course.
But, you know, I think that's just the nature of NXT these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, I liked Solo Sikoa, you know, accidentally walking in the middle, you know, you're just trying to walk into the hallway, said, I'm sorry, you know, tried to give Legato their space, and that wasn't good enough for Santos.
Yeah, no.
Like, hey,
that segment had all the hallmarks of Shawn Michaels booking. Someone wanders into a situation, the match ensues.
Right, exactly. That's good stuff.
That's how basically every match in NXT UK is booked.
Oh, it's great. It's you know,
it stumbles into somebody or runs into somebody. They stumble into some awkward situation. Match is booked.
In UK, it's almost exclusively when somebody's training in the performance center.
Yeah,
and the camera is interviewing somebody, and then something happens off camera. The camera turns to it, and then there we have a feud.
Yep,
a feud
just for that week or just for the next week. Match is motivated, and then we move on.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
At least every match is motivated by something.
Exactly. So we could just dive into it. It's funny because like one of the little spoiler alert for our predictions. One of your predictions, more main roster crossover.
Yes.
And yes, certainly we're getting that with AJ Styles had a little video hyping up Grayson Waller, because that match, didn't that match happening at
Yes, they're advertising it as a confrontation at New Year's Eve.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But Riddle's in that match with MSK against Imperium. I guess I can kind of repeat myself as far as what I said in predictions. This seems like you have main roster talents. Why they didn't do this before on a regular basis? I know there has been some main roster talents that show up in NXT in the past, but like a continual influx of main roster talents to get some eyeballs on NXT, and you have these main roster talents there with the developmental talent. Even if the main roster talent's just there a day, the opportunity for Grayson Waller to sit with AJ Styles and talk to him for a bit, learn from him.
Yeah, sure.
That's great for these talents who are learning the craft of sports entertainment. I would not be surprised this happens on a far more regular basis than it did during 1.0.
Do you wonder if that's one of the motivations of this, or is it strictly, hey, let's try to get these ratings up? Because that is a really good point. You have AJ Styles there even for a day. Why is it? Because look, obviously the thing about NXT before was primarily, I know there is a developmental aspect to it, but primarily they were bringing in people who had already had some amount of seasoning in wrestling. Some of these people have been wrestling for like 15 years before they got to NXT. Some people have been, world champions in other places. Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor had a pretty great career.
AJ didn't go to NXT, but he's there now.
Yeah. Good recovery there. Good save. But, given that now these people were security guards in NXT a couple months ago. And
February, now they're main event players. Yeah.
This time last year, they weren't even in the company at all or doing wrestling at all. I wonder if that is one motivation. It's like, or is that just sort of an added bonus of like, hey, hopefully he has a conversation with Grayson Waller and wisens them up to some stuff in pro wrestling. It's probably just a pop rating, so I'd imagine. I
would think predominantly, but I would think that the trainers and Shawn Michaels down NXT would realize the benefit of even having AJ Styles in there for half a day. Have him do a little seminar or something, at the Performance Center.
Yeah, sure.
So the talent there could sit under his learning tree and pick up some stuff in terms of how to improve their craft.
Yeah, that could be.
And if in the case of Riddle, we get some storytelling that kind of crosses over between brands, where you have him kind of being the shaman for MSK because he thinks he's learned so much about tag team wrestling, tagging with Randy Orton, and then he's going to take what he's learned from MSK and bring that back to his own tag team. I know it's not much, but there's some semblance of crossover there from a storytelling perspective.
Yeah. It's just an interesting counter to, oh man, the Enforcer just subscribed. Thanks, Enforcer.
Yeah.
26 months now. Yeah.
Enforcer's the best. Thank you, Enforcer.
So, I had a point and then Enforcer subbed and it threw me completely off. So good job, Enforcer. Anyways, let's dive into this. Grayson Waller opened up with a promo. He dubbed himself Breakout Star of the Year. He says he couldn't care less about the fans, about Christmas, but on Christmas, he woke up, told himself, I deserve a present, and then he booked himself first-class tickets to Detroit for Monday Night Raw. He said, I was having a good time. I was keeping to myself when AJ won a little bit of my clout. And then they cut to a recap of that. He says, I don't understand why people like AJ Styles. Last week, he came out on my show, says AJ's theme sucks. All the fans here, they try to get their fat asses out of their seats. He doesn't get why. Says AJ wants to say he's no star, but let's be real. There's no bigger star than me. If it wasn't for Aziz and Apollo, it would have been AJ's last night on Raw.
Yeah, and he says, I'm supposed to have a match against Dexter Lumis last night, but after that chair shot last week, he's not medically cleared. But apparently they found a suitable replacement, and they're going to find out what the Grayson Waller effect really is. It's obvious they think very highly of Grayson Waller.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I feel like week in and week out, he's growing quite a bit. See him improving in front of you.
Yeah, I can appreciate the man's work ethic and what they want for him. I still couldn't care less about him. After that, we had Grayson Waller. So he was like, he was supposed to take on Dexter Lumis. And he said, who's gonna be it? Odyssey Jones comes out. I don't know where this guy's been. Remember, we had dubbed him like the next huge thing in NXT. Apparently, they don't think that there. Instead, it's Grayson Waller. So Waller takes his leave. Odyssey Jones grabs the mic, calls Waller nothing but a big-time bitch. Grayson turns back, goes back to the ring, and then they have a match then.
Yeah, the finish that saw Waller pull off the turnbuckle cover while Jones is trying to hit him with a power bomb. That earns Odyssey Jones a 2 after said power bomb. So Jones charges Grayson. Grayson steps aside. So Jones runs to the exposed turnbuckle, and then after that, Waller he rolls out of the ring, and he has this great rolling, leaping stunner thing where he runs from the floor, leaps between the bottom and second ropes, does a rolling stunner out of that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense in terms of how that should be practical in any fashion whatsoever, but it's cool, and he does it so smooth.
It looks good, and he does it very smoothly. Yeah.
Yeah. So he hits that to get the win, and then AJ shows up on the Titantron, thanks Waller for showing up on Raw, says you got some attention you were looking for. Maybe I'll be on NXT next week. I'll see you at New Year's Evil.
Yeah.
Confrontation has been advertised.
So another thing to note about NXT, clearly, same thing happened on Raw. There were some missing people, and they had to kind of obviously compensate for that due to probably what is the COVID protocols. This variant is just sweeping the country right now. So we got Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez backstage, or in an interview. Cora says, look, we can coexist, but next week it's every woman for themselves. Raquel says, we've agreed to take out Toxic Attraction tonight. Io walks in. She's like, I want a title shot. Kaylee Ray walks in. She's like, I want a title shot too. Mandy shows up via Matt Chat question. Hot tub stream. Yes, Larson.
She seemingly has some sort of power where she can just show up on any screen anywhere.
It's pretty impressive.
Titantron. Monitor in the background.
New gimmick. Hot tubs hacker. Because she's always like in her pool or a hot tub or something, which I ain't arguing against. Anyways, Mandy shows up on the monitor behind them, and she suggests that she's going to give Gigi Dolan and JC Jane the night off, and says, hey, Cora and Raquel, how about y'all take on Io and Kaylee Ray, and the winning team then gets to be in that triple threat match against me. And they're like, yeah, cool, that works. Yeah.
We got a quick little bit here from Sean Ross Sapp about Toni Storm's release. This is what he had to say via Twitter. Quote, those that I spoke to within WWE believe Toni Storm asked for her release from the company, though I'm also making an effort to reach out to those close to her. The memo that went out did not list budget cuts as the reason, as has been traditional of late.
Oh, wow. She said, I feel like it should be Toni time, and I want time away from you now, please. Thank you. Anyways, good for her. She gets out of there. After that, we had a Grayson Waller promo. Where he was in the parking lot. Yeah, he was in the parking lot. I thought he was on backstage. That's weird.
Oh, he was.
My head was backstage.
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah, he was. He was right backstage.
Going
Sorry.
crazy.
So he just says, yeah, I have no problem putting up or shutting up with you, AJ Styles. And he runs to Nash Carter, and Nash Carter's like, oh, we're out next. And so they go out.
Yeah. Oh, there's another guy who wasn't there. Yeah. Staying at home. Yeah. No Matt Chat question for me. Yeah. Video package for Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, quick Tiffany Stratton package. She's debuting on this episode of NXT.
Face reveal happens tonight. Zion Quinn, the mumbler, says he knows Elektra Lopez wants this as much as he does. He's thirsty. Horny Zion says she needs to make the choice. It's either me or Legato, and it needs to happen tonight. He's like, I need to get some. He's been on a dry streak this year, man. Like before, one of his predictions during the year was to get some, and he's like, it's come Tuesday. Elektra, man. It's come Tuesday. Oh man, sorry. He's such a mumbler. He looks amazing. Yeah. He looks great.
And he actually has like a good, like his voice sounds, there's like a nice timbre to it. Like
he's got gravitas.
Yeah. He's very soft spoken.
He needs to project a bit more.
Yeah. Like his voice has like I said, it sounds great. He just, project. He needs to project a bit more.
He needs some release.
Okay. MSK promo next. They come out to the ring, says it feels good to be back. Last time they were there was at Halloween Havoc when they lost the tag titles. They say it's been a journey. They found their shaman and Matt Riddle. Now they're flying higher than ever before. And then Riddle shows up at the Tron. He's like, hey, sorry I couldn't be here. I'm there with you in spirit. I've seen your journey. Now there's only one thing left to do. Challenge Imperium for the tag titles. So Wesley does that. Eichner, Bartel come out to the stage. Bartel says, you guys can sit around your fires, sing your songs, ride your scooters, but understand they'll never be able to touch them. The NXT tag titles are staying with the best team this division's ever seen. They belong to Imperium. And MSK says, well, if you're feeling spicy, come put your tag titles on the line now. And that's when Walter shows up on the Tron. It says that MSK is everything that is wrong with this sport. Eichner and Bartel are fantastic champions. MSK does not deserve a title match. They deserve a beating with his right hand.
Chop in hand. I like that his Matt Chat question looked like it was filmed on an iPhone 3 too.
It really did.
It was so, and then Riddle's screen goes whoop. But I think it even had a sound effect too.
It did.
So his Matt Chat pops back in. He says, "Hey, bro, I'm not gonna let anyone talk to my friends like that. How about this, bro? Next week, why not me and MSK take on Imperium?" And then Walter calls Riddle a nerd. "I accept your challenge. I'm going to expose them for what they are, a bunch of showmen." Yeah.
It's exciting to have Walter in NXT 2.0.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yes. More Walter is better. After that, we had a quick Joe Gacy. Oh, we got a raid.
Hey, we got a raid from Jimmy Effendaro. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Thank you. So Joe Gacy and Harlan have a quick promo, and Joe reminds Harlan that Kendrick called him a freak, insists that he is no freak.
Yeah, he's a bit of a freak. Not as much of a freak as Zion Quinn, though. Anyways, after that, we had an Idris Enofe promo. I thought this was pretty good, man. I think this is like his first extended interview that I've seen.
I think so.
He says, "It felt fantastic win last week. All his life he's had doubters. No better way to close out his 2021 than by getting his first win." And then come Tuesday, Von Wagner barges in, says Idris got lucky. Malik Blade then steps in, says a win is a win, and he's going to do the same thing tonight. And Von Wagner says, "I don't even know who you are." He just gets confused at people, apparently.
Yeah.
Poor Von Wagner. I have no idea what his gimmick is. What is his deal? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He's got horse
He's
jockey.
got a lot of frustration.
He's got frustration. He's got horse jockey pants. He's bad at sneak attacks. He doesn't know who some people on the roster are. Von Wagner is just confused.
He is confused. He is very confused. After that, we were supposed to have Harlan versus Brian Kendrick. Kendrick's music plays. No Spanky to be found.
I love that theme, though. Man with a plan.
Man with a plan. It's a great theme.
Man, it's
a great theme. So Joe Gacy asked for a mic. So sadly, he knew this was going to happen. Kendrick, just like so many other people in this cruel world, they talk a big game, but when they get confronted with their mistakes, they fail to show up. He says Kendrick is afraid to admit that he was the problem, that he did wrong by Harlan. So Andre Chase interrupts. Says, what we have right now is
a teachable moment.
So he says at Chase University, we don't quit. We don't run away from our problems. We take negatives and turn them into positives. And Gacy says, I admire the good work you do. In fact, did you know that Harlan was once enrolled in school, was unjustly expelled? He says, but Mr. Chase, thank you for stepping up and volunteering yourself as Kendrick's replacement tonight. This went about as predictably as you would assume. I really hope they don't have Harlan's finisher be ram someone's head into the map many times.
I'll be honest. I'm not anti that. He had some pretty vicious shoot-looking back elbows to poor Andre Chase's head. And then, like you said, his finish was just ramming his head.
And the ref called the match.
Yeah, it was really quick, too. I was like, what the hell, man? Let him go. Come on, zombie ref. Help him out a little bit. After that, Harlan walks back to the ring. It starts to, because he's going to threaten Andre Chase some more. That blonde Chase University student runs in and he covers Andre. And then Harlan pulls him out of the ring, picks him up, carries him backstage. We find out what happens to that man a little bit later. But first, Legado waits outside the door for Lopez. Santos asks, hey, what's going on between you and Quinn? Because apparently he thinks that's his business. Solo Sikoa then walks out a door. So they're just like in a hallway. Solo Sikoa walks out the door and sees that they're in the middle of something. And oddly, he says, oh, man, I'm sorry. Well, that's very polite of him. He walks back through the door. He's like, I'll go through the hallway a different time, apparently, once these guys are done with their little impromptu meeting here. But no, that's not good enough for Santos. He's like, hey, I want an apology. Solo is like, man, you've got yourself some misplaced anger there, friend. But if you want to settle this, we could do it in the ring. And immediately I'm thinking, Santos, you don't want any part of that, because even though you have 3 guys back in your play, what do you do best? Lose matches. Sure enough, that's what happened a little bit later.
Then we get Tiffany Stratton's debut versus Fallon Henley.
Why was
Stratton
her
wins.
face reveal such a thing?
I don't know.
She's like a normal looking person, you know.
So I think she had a match on 205.
Yes, that's right.
And then like she has a Twitter account.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why it was such a thing. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know, we were, by the way, I want to publicly on the show give a shout out. Usually me and the Enforcer do NXT 2.0 watch alongs over at MF Steve here Twitch channel. However, Enforcer was taking a bit of a vacay this week, and I asked Maggie and Lou to join me instead, and they did, and it was awesome. It was so great. So now I got to decide, are they now permanent? Does Enforcer have to fight for his role on my channel?
Wow.
Nah, man, he'll come back. So yeah, she won this match with a flatliner.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh yeah, Lou here in chat saying, "Fight me, Enforcer." Wow. Yeah, man, I'll just pit them against each other.
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Just be cool, Steve. Just be cool. After that, we had a Tony D'Angelo promo. He's just talking trash about Pete Dunne. He's telling some story that his grandfather told him that if you go, if you're getting bullied, go up to that bully and punch him in the face, and they'll walk away. They'll leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Hey, Pete Dunne, you should do that," suggesting that when he hit his hand with the crowbar, that was akin to him punching the bully in the face. Says Pete Dunne, just stay away.
Shout out to Tony D too, because clearly he used the back-facing superior camera on his phone. He set it up on some sort of tripod. It wasn't all glitchy and pixely. It's the little things. It's taking it the extra step.
Yes.
Not Seth Rollins and his flaccid tree in the background.
Yeah,
or Big E.
I could not stop looking at that.
And there's like way too much space up between the top of his head and the and top of the frame. Anyways, just a thing of mine.
Yeah.
This next
then we get
great.
We get the contract signing. So Roddy's out first. Bivens grabs the mic, says, I don't see Trick or Mello backstage, or I didn't see Trick or Mello backstage. I get it. Gas prices are high, so they couldn't afford to make it.
Mm-hmm.
He says Roddy would never ever.
Then he gets interrupted because then Trick and Mello come out. Look, can we just get to the part where they use the phrase "nuck if you buck"?
Sure, we can go directly to that.
I don't know; it's buried in here somewhere. But he said, "No." So the idea is so Trick tells Bivens, and again, I can't. I would suggest going back and watching this.
Yeah, watch it.
Trick is so and Bivens is so good. So Trick tells Bivens to get out of the way when grown men are talking. He tells Roddy that he spoke to the champ, and they decided they're going to call him the B champ because he won't be champ for much longer, which is a great line.
Yeah.
He says he can't wait till Mello takes a title from him and unifies them. In other words, next Tuesday, and I'm reading off your notes here.
This might not be verbatim what he said because he said it really fast.
And it's so good, though. And I can't do it as smoothly. He says you can strap up their boots and make the ring talk because Roddy's never been about it. Roddy's obviously confused about what Trick just said because he's a nerd. Bivens translates for him, says Trick called him the second-tier champ, and Trick confirms this along the way.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
That's right.
He says that Roddy won't be able to unify the titles, that he'll put on his boots and stomp Roddy until there is a substantial amount of downpour. And Roddy tells Bivens to tell Trick that he'll kick his ass. Bivens says, Roddy says, if you come at the king, you best not miss. Around here, this is his block. I think this is where he said, nuck if you buck. Yeah. He says, if you want some, come get some, because right now you're outnumbered.
This bit from Trick next killed me. He says, I've never been outnumbered. I'm 6'4", 235 pounds. I got 8 abs, 3 chains, 2 women, and 2 feet to stick up your you-know-what. You do the math.
That was such a great line. And it's so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Bivens says, I don't get paid enough to translate all that right now. I'm not going to do this all night. Wade interjects. Oh, gentlemen, I've got no clue what anyone is talking about here. I'd like to speak to the two champs. I want to know what's on Mello's mind. Mello says, when I shoot, I don't miss. It's not a catchphrase. It's a lifestyle. Because I love that he makes a reference to the Equalizer. He says, I've got aim like Denzel in the Equalizer. Don't play with me because I'll put you on a T-shirt. Look at the guys I've laid to rest. Know what the difference is between Roddy and them? Not a damn thing. Oh, that's how I was like, oh, what is the difference? Oh, nothing. Ouch. Oh, man. He says, because Roddy, I take what I want, and next week I'm taking the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm going to unify the belts, and I'll truly be the A-champ of NXT. And then, sadly, Roderick Strong gets on the microphone and tries to follow that up.
Yeah, he tells Mello, bravo, press that you said it all to my face. But I want you to understand that as much potential as you have, they're both going to have a life-changing experience. He says, for me, it's going to be the biggest night of my career when I unify the belts and walk out a two-time North American champ. But for you, Mello, you're going to be carried out and be forever known as Humbled Hayes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the weak sauce.
So Wade says, all right, sign the contract already. Roddy signs it first, passes it to Mello. Mello signs it and pushes the folio across the table, basically back into Roddy's lap. So Trick and Mello, they're about to leave, and Bivens says, you know, it's about it. Loomis whooping your ass. Trick turns around, says, I'm sick of your mouth. Bivens warns, I'm going to make an example of you. And Bivens asks him, why can't we all just get along? Trick turns around, and the Creed brothers hit a spine buster on him through the table.
Can't we all just get it? He busted out, can't we all just get along? I think I was watching that live when it happened.
Yeah, I might have been too.
Can't we all just get along? Oh, man. And then it was made for that poor dude. Anyways, moving on. We had a tag division video package. They're having a number one contender match.
I think so. It was everybody except Imperium in this video package, essentially. It was Briggs and Jensen. It was Grizzled Young Veterans, Jacket Time, and
the other team.
There's a fourth team in there, too. Creed Brothers.
Thank you. Yeah, that's who
Creed
it was.
Brothers.
After that, we had Solo Sikoa versus Santos Escobar. And even though he's got that many people with him, Solo Sikoa still got the win here. Oh, I have to mention that here. Ryan Chad, thank you so much for mentioning that in the chat. When Trick got back in the ring to confront Bivens, who stepped in front of him? Ivy Nile.
Mm-hmm.
That was rad. Was rad.
Mm-hmm.
Solo Sikoa gets the win here with the top rope. I love his top rope splash because he leans into it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't he doesn't try to put his hands and his knees down.
Oh, his elbows down to break his fall.
It's like a senton, but with his front. It's great.
So Santos has control of the vast majority of this match. He hits the Frankensteiner off the top, and then Zion Quinn walks to ringside.
Oh,
and he walks up by Elektra Lopez, and Santos just comes flying through the screen with a suicide dive, hits him with some ground and pound, and then Santos turns to Lopez and saying something to her. I couldn't tell what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls into the ring, gets hit with a super kick from Sikoa, top rope splash to get the win.
Yeah. We get a quick bit of Mackenzie hyping up the New Year's Evil card. In fact, it looks like a good card.
Yeah, it does.
Cut to the parking lot. Harlan and Gacy have brought the Chase University student up to the roof. They do a long shot. It looks clearly like they are preparing to watch this man fall to his death.
Or throw him off.
Which I think is one and the same. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, the fall could be he stumbles and falls. I'm saying the idea was they were going to lead to, or Harlan was going to lead to him leaving that roof.
Yes, correct. In which case, I felt like the guy was going to die.
Yes.
So yeah, that's where I was going with that. Gacy tells Harlan, "Hey, you've made your point." Harlan releases him. They leave. Then we get a Solo Sikoa interview, but nope. He's attacked by Boa with his face paint on. He's grabbing him by the throat, and then he lays out the cameraman. Another cameraman runs in, and Boa's standing there, confused, with no face paint.
No face paint.
I kind of like that, to be honest. I thought it was kind of cool. If you're gonna do something, go all the way with it.
Yeah. And the commentary was making a point. It was he can't control this power that he has. It's overwhelming him. Then we get a Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker video package. Just hyping up their match at New Year's Evil. Then we get Von Wagner versus Malik Blade. Robert Stone's watching backstage. Von Wagner spends a good amount of this match just throwing Malik Blade around the ring. Blade gets some of his stuff in the end, though. Wagner wins with a butterfly suplex, and afterwards he leaves, rolls back in, is about to attack Blade, but then Idris Enofe pulls Malik Blade out of the ring to make the save.
Absolutely. After that, we had the main event, Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. I really hope that, or I was hoping, because obviously this was Raquel and Cora's story. You know, they're going into this match at New Year's Evil. That spot was on the line. Can they coexist? And they did, like you said at the head of the episode, they did. They were pretty seamless. The only problem was Cora Jade tried to get the win here, and Raquel Gonzalez didn't like that. She actually kicked her off the pin, and
that would have won them the match.
Yeah, would have won them the match. And then in the end, though, there was like sort of a roll-up sequence thing that happened, and Cora Jade ended up getting the actual win. And Raquel Gonzalez hated that, and they started arguing afterwards, which was just really ridiculous. What I was hoping was a little bit of story with Io and Kaylee Ray, because I'd love to see a feud between them. That match would be absolutely amazing. That would be fantastic. But we didn't really get much of a tease there.
No, not really. I mean, like so Raquel hits her finish, and he said Cora tags her, and they argue. Raquel sit out of the ring. Cora covers. Raquel comes back in to break up the pin. Starts yelling at Cora. They go back and forth a little bit. And Kaylee Ray pushes Cora into Raquel. That knocks Raquel to the floor. And then, Kaylee Ray rolls up Cora. And then Raquel comes in and just pushes them. So Kaylee Ray's now on her back. And then Cora gets the roll-up win. And then they argue some more. Mandy shows up at the Tron, says, "Congratulations, you two. You may have won, but your selfish desires for my title will be your downfall. That's why I made it a triple threat match. You're so consumed with taking the title from me that I'll be able to just take them out of the title picture altogether."
Yep. Again, her hot tub Matt chat question.
We got a raid here from Mardog. Thank you so much.
What's up? All these nice raids. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to go ahead and answer some questions. I put up a thread on the Patreon. If you can't make the live show, you can always go to our Patreon and ask us a question there. I want to mention also, if you are interested in going in Raw ad-free on the audio side of things, we offer that on the Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen Larson. We also have some bonus content there as well. Yesterday, Friendo Club TV, we talked about, we gave our own. So WWE released their top 25 WWE matches. Obviously, WWE is not going to put out a list that includes AEW or New Japan. They did their own thing, and we fixed it for them. We gave each of our top 10 WWE-specific matches for the year. So that's what we did on yesterday's show. So that was good. Thank goodness we've got Xavier Gray here in our Patreon question thread, because he asked 3 questions, and he was the only person who actually asked any questions here on the Patreon thread. Shout out to the Enforcer, though, for leaving a comment in the question thread. It simply says, "Yeah," in the style of Braun Breaker. Xavier Gray.
Or is it in the style of LA Knight? Yeah.
I mean, he might be here in the chat, so I don't want to speak for him. My prediction is that it's Braun Breaker. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Xavier Gray. Is Karen Q even going to get a new character gimmick now that Boa has the Tien Shaw gimmick?
Yeah, so, she's the one that's been sleeping around the Performance Center.
She's the person that's been last week she was behind commentary, sleeping. So she's been my guess is that she's still the same character, but because Boa took those powers, she's now reverting to her like normal form, and she's just really exhausted because being Mei Ying with the Tien Shaw abilities is really just making her go teep.
Prime Joy Bearding says, since her debut, I assume on main roster, Toni has had 7 television and pay-per-view matches in total.
That's actually more than I figured it would be.
Let me see when she got called up.
Xavier Gray with question number 2. Is MSK going to form a new faction with Riddle once they're called up to the main roster? Wouldn't that be a really wonderful bit of once him and Orton are done, then they start a faction together? That'd be cool. I'd love that.
That could be cool. That could be cool.
I would hesitate to say yes, just because you never know what they do with main roster.
Yeah. So according to Wikipedia, Toni was called up. So July 9th, there was a video package saying that she had been called up.
Wow.
And it was 2 weeks later that she actually debuted.
Okay. Wasn't there
So
about,
she's been on the main roster about 6 months.
Okay. There was like an extended period of time, like I thought around the draft when like she wasn't used.
Yeah, she wasn't. She had a couple matches and then she wasn't on TV at all.
And then nothing for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. And then another question here from Xavier Gray. Why are Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez still with NXT? They should be gone by now. I would say 1,000% for Io Shirai. Mm-hmm. I agree also with Raquel Gonzalez, but man, Io needs to be. It is weird. It is bizarre that Io Shirai isn't on a main roster. That's just weird.
It is weird. It is really weird. Jorge D says, both of you get enrolled into Chase University. What would be your role in the group? Teachers, assistants, or whatever the long-haired blonde guy is? Well, he's a student.
He's a bit of a teacher's pet, too.
Yeah. A counselor. I'd be a counselor.
Oh, what a great answer. I would be... I mean, is part of Chase University, if the idea of Chase University is learn how to be a wrestler.
Oh, better than counselor, athletic director.
Well, I think you'd probably be suited for counselor better. I would say art teacher. I would teach those kids how to make their own merchandise branding.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
That's all I got.
White Brownie says, obviously Io needs to go to main. Did you just read this one? No. But considering how the division is booked currently, should Io go on a singles run or team up with Asuka and add more depth to the tag division?
It is booked terribly.
It is.
The main roster women's division is booked terribly. At least AEW, with the limited time they give their women's division, they do put thought into it. You know, yeah, we need more matches on main roster, but
yeah,
you know, they do. They put thought into it. WWE, it's such an afterthought, with the exception, with few exception. If they put her on main roster and she was on par with, I don't know. I mean, hell, even Naomi's got a good thing going right now with Sonya Deville. Shayna, unfortunately, is sort of stuck as Sonya Deville's henchman. Bianca, they seem to want to continually feature because she's going to win at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Becky and Liv have a decent thing going right now. Charlotte's always around. I mean, there are some aspects that are decent, but like their mid card with like the women's tag division is just a crime. It's like there's no real division there.
They have a really hard time coming up with stories that don't involve the titles.
So I don't know, man. I really don't know. It is obviously sort of like they could do something really cool or they could do something really shitty. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Shane's birthday tweet. How has your thoughts on the debut of 2.0 compared to the current way the product is? Oh, so initial impressions of 2.0 versus what we think about it now.
What a great question.
Yeah.
Exceeds expectations because expectations were in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like the idea of, are we just going to watch people learn how to wrestle? I thought that was, it's been, they have managed it better because it is still that to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's better. They've been able to integrate, good wrestlers. I think that the transition's been clunky. The idea that we're still questioning what's Io still doing there, what's Raquel still doing there, why is Ciampa still there, why is Pete Dunne there? That's weird. That being said, some of the more experienced wrestlers that are there do still sort of bolster the product a bit more.
They do, and yeah, I mean it's obvious they're still kind of throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks. After that first episode of 2.0, I was like, gosh, this is going to be a chore to sit through, and sometimes it still is. It's very inconsistent on a segment by segment basis. Some are pretty solid. Sometimes you still get good matches. Sometimes you don't, and you just kind of have to roll with it. As I said before, now it's not. I'm not watching it expecting great wrestling television on a week to week basis. I'm watching it to see how people develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when there's growth there and people are learning the craft, sports entertainment in terms of how WWE does it, that's where the fun is for me right now, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see here. Don Wagner, Pat Sparks. Hey, friendos.
Hey, friendos.
What wrestlers in character would be good at training an emotional support animal, and who would you not want to do? I would not want Harlan to do it. He would probably eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Who would I want to do it? I think MSK would treat a dog really well.
Yeah.
Emotional support animal.
Yeah.
I would not want Boa to do it. I get the feeling Solo Sikoa would be good with a dog. I feel like he feels like he's a loner and he can't trust people, but dogs are loyal as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah. Solo Sikoa, I think it's a good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Anyways.
You want to end on this one from Don Wagner? What one match would you like to see XPac have in each of the major promotions, Impact and GCW included? We talked about GCW already.
Yeah, Ninja Mac.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Impact. What about?
Their X Division champion. It's Trey Miguel.
Yes, that'd be great. AEW.
Darby. Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix would be great.
Phoenix.
NXT.
Carmelo Hayes.
Mm-hmm. Good. Raw. Raw or SmackDown, just WWE main roster. Finn Balor.
Oh, good answer. That's a good answer. Oh, AJ Styles, yeah.
AJ's a good answer too.
Cool. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tonight with our AEW recap at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.